Welcome back to KLM, not the airline, but a foundation called Kavanah L'Mitzvos Foundation. And we're lucky to be in the Yibnei Beis HaMidrash for this year. For those of you who are new, the whole idea here is to connect our minds and our feelings to Hashem more effectively and with profound ramifications. That's what it's about. Okay. Let me ask you a rhetorical question. What would be more desirable? To have a job that is extremely pleasurable. It's a joy to be at work. Or to have a job that's a drudgery, but you have a 2-week vacation that's magnificent every year. That, you know why it's rhetorical. Of course, you would want the job that's a great pleasure. It's like a calling. You would love that job for 50 weeks, then 2 weeks of pleasure. Okay? Agreed? So if that's the case, I would like we have a job here on earth. We sometimes forget this, but our main job is to serve Hashem, to connect to Hashem. That's our main job. So my goal tonight is that it become a distinct pleasure. Okay, that's what we want here. So, in order to do that though, we have to shift away from a certain behavior. Okay, and that behavior is rushing through davening, rushing through the mitzvahs, and doing them by rote. If we want to enjoy over the greatest job there is, our job on earth, we have to do something about that. And I want to kind of give you a deeper look into what causes us to just... Here, think about this, right? We're put on earth to seek out Hashem. He doesn't make it easy, right? We have to seek and search, and our whole goal is to connect to Hashem. Now, do you want to rush through that? Should we be rushing through our whole purpose on earth to seek out and connect to Hashem? Of course not. So, what causes us to do it to do our mitzvot and daven sometimes a bit mechanically, like I said, running through it? What's at the root of that? So it's really interesting. There's a good shoresh. The root of what causes the problem is actually something good, which is we do things out of a sense of obligation. And the truth of the matter is, we must be in contact that we're obligated to do service Hashem. In fact, but that's what Kriya Shema is for. In the second paragraph of the Kriya Shema, you say, Hashem, I accept twice a day, I accept my obligation to do your mitzvahs. But once you shift into serving, that's not the approach. What happens if you pray out of a sense of obligation? Are you ready for something shocking? The Gemara in Baruch says, the Mishnah in Baruch says, anyone who makes his tefillah keva, meaning he does it, he fulfills the davening out of a sense of obligation, ein tachanunim, it's not a supplication, it's not prayer. Can you believe that? It's shocking. If you approach it from a sense of, okay, I'm now about to discharge my obligation, nothing happened. Just not to worry you too much, the halacha is that after the fact it counts, but barely. So interestingly enough, this obligation nature can get us into, what's the problem? The bartender says, you feel like it's like a load on your shoulders and you just want to take the load off. Okay, I've been carrying something heavy, I put it down, and now I can move on to what I'd like to move on. Boy, that's not going to work. That's not the way we're going to have a job. I mean, again, our main job, we don't want it to be a drudgery, we want it to be a joy, okay? So that's what we have to, let's say, get out of. And the question is, how do we get out of that, right? How do we move out of drudgery or chore? I call it like this. a chore mindset to a joy mindset. How do we get to the joy mindset? So we go back to what those who saw the previous classes, we talked about the most unbelievable Tehillim, Mizmor L'Soida, which is Tehillim Kuf that we say 2 before Ashrei. Such an incredible Tehillim. And there, by the way, that is, what a place to understand the thanking from that. It's just, it's, first of all, you know who wrote it? Not David HaMelech. Moshe Rabbeinu wrote that. It was one of the 11 Tehillim that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote. And there, the whole thing is Mizmor Soda. It has the secret of how to move into a joy mindset. Okay? So, in order to discover the secret, let me remind you of a scale. Okay? Okay. I call this the scale of gratitude. Okay? And I think it'll resonate when you hear it. This is the bottom of the scale. Feeling gratitude. That's not something to be scoffed at, because feeling gratitude is battling against feeling entitled, taking things for granted. So to actually feel gratitude and achievement, okay, especially if things come all the time. I think I'm going to tell you the hot dog story. My Rebbe was in, I think in day school, he's young, and every Rosh Chodesh in the cafeteria they served hot dogs. So he loved hot dogs, but his best friend didn't like hot dogs, so he always gave him his hot dog on Rosh Chodesh. So this went on for probably half a year, maybe more, a year, and suddenly his friend says, you know, I decided I'm going to have the hot dog. He got so upset. How can you take away my hot dog? He thought the hot dog's coming to him, right? He forgot it was originally a gift, right? So feeling gratitude, when you're getting something all the time, it is indeed an achievement. But there's another level higher, and this is going to be very important for you. This especially right now. Expressing appreciation. That is another madrega, okay? It's, by the way, this is a keystone, I think, to connecting to Hashem, is number one, is this feeling gratitude. In my experience over the years, the people who connect to feeling gratitude and are the ones who connect to Hashem the most, okay? But step number 2, expressing appreciation. Why is this a higher level? Well, because you're bringing the other into the picture. You care enough to let them know that you appreciate it. Now already, this is great for your tefillah. This will help a lot. If you remember, I have to feel sincere gratitude, and that's what I'm doing in the Psuke, the Zimra, and all this. I'm expressing appreciation. But the pinnacle, the noble highest level is, what do? Giving back. Giving back. That's the real achievement. You don't just feel gratitude. You don't just sincerely express it. You give back. So, with that in mind, let's actually discover. Here's the secret to the joy mindset. It's in the second pasuk in Tehillim Kuf, in Mizmor L'Soda. What is the second instruction? The first thing it says, Mizmor L'Soda, and interestingly, Moshe instructs, shout out. The whole world should shout out to Hashem, okay? I'm not going to discuss that right now, but what's his second step? Or in a certain sense, it's the first step. It says, Mizmor L'Soda, and then it says, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Ivdu es Hashem. Big when you understand the context here. Says the Hovos Halavavos like this. What's the most profound response to gratitude? Avoda, service. Avoda is in the context of gratitude. I can't really exaggerate how important that is, but I'm going to try my best to explain that. But that's the secret. Ivdu es Hashem. Now, notice I paused there. I didn't say besimcha. All right? Besimcha is the joy mindset. But it starts with understanding Ivdu es Hashem. Now, why is avoda the perfect response? And remember, it's noble, it's giving back. Avoda, for step number one, it's more than feeling it and expressing it, it's giving back. But here's the thing, it's a response. The reason it's so profound is because when you realize the following, how much you owe Hashem, right? We are very in debt. We have this incredible debt of gratitude, right? Okay, now the thing is this, when you realize that, and if you develop your consciousness, and you appeal to the nobility of your soul, you realize, when I receive, I should give back. I should reciprocate. That's a level, that's a real level, is to feel a sense of obligation. And that's what David HaMelech says in a different thing. Ma shiv la Hashem kol tagmalo hi alai, right? How can I repay Hashem for all He's bestowed upon me, right? So, instead of, in the chore mindset, I'm obligated. And how do I feel when I get up in the morning and I really push myself and I pray and I concentrate, or I put on tefillin or whatever I do? I feel in a certain sense like I just did Hashem a favor. I was tired, I got up and you realize what I just did, and I concentrated. So when you realize your debt of gratitude, you realize Hashem understands our predicament. That if we really connect to the fact how much gratitude we need towards Hashem, how much we receive, it's almost a burden, right? So Hashem says, I know your predicament, and I'm going to give you a way to work down your debt of gratitude. Avoda, serve me. So Hashem's doing us the favor. We're not doing Hashem a favor with avoda. Hashem is doing us an incredible favor. Right? Because He's giving us a chance to work it back, to work it down some. Now, removing your debt of gratitude is a source of joy, and I want to explain it with, I think, a very good example. This foundation that I've started, it's only about a year and a half old. So I'm working with a team of people who, out of the kindness of their heart and thank God, their belief in the cause, I'm working with volunteers. And I have one friend who works with me. He gives an hour, he works and everything. He gives me an hour every morning to help me prepare the materials and format the materials using his skill set. And every single morning for about a year, right? So about a week ago, he says to me, do you mind if we take 10 minutes out of our session for you to give me some advice on a project? Do I mind? I said, do I mind? Are you kidding? I am so glad you asked me. You're constantly doing this. You asked me for 10 minutes. I was really happy to have that chance. I'm sure people have these experiences where someone who's doing so much and they go, you're hoping they'll ask you for a favor. They're hoping they'll ask you something. So that's it. So we have to realize that that's what's taking place. It's like Hashem is doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, and He says, do you mind? Now, let me explain this because I don't want us to get an incorrect understanding about Hashem, okay? We have to understand, and this is also foundational, that Hashem doesn't need anything. And what we're talking about now really underscores it. He just gives us this thing called avoda so we can accept, experience, rejoice in His gifts and not feel like, like burdened by by the debt of gratitude, right? So when we say Hashem, can you do me a favor? He doesn't need favors in the deepest sense of that word, but okay? But Hashem says, can you do this? Can you serve me, right? So this will move us into the joy set, but it's not as, it's pretty simple if you get this down, but it's not quite as simple as I just said, because we have a problem, okay? I call it the FedEx delivery man problem. You know what I mean. It's the FedEx delivery man problem, okay? We don't fully realize, I thought of a new word, feelize. we don't feelize fully how much he's giving us. Why? Because of the FedEx delivery man problem. Okay, let me explain. Let's say I get a knock at my door. I'll make it me, okay? I get a knock at my door, and lo and behold, it's a FedEx delivery man, and he has a package that has a watch in it for me, right? So, he comes, he has the board. I'm supposed to sign sign the board that I received the gift. So anyhow, I happen to open it up before, I sign. So he's right in front of me. I open it up and I look at it. It's a really nice watch. And I go up to him and I give him a big hug. I say, thank you so much for this watch. It's beautiful. And I love the car. I'm like hugging the delivery man. So if he's normal, he's going, will you calm down? I'm just delivering it. I didn't send you the watch. I didn't choose and send it. I'm busy hugging. We're doing that, if we think that's funny, we're doing that all the time, right? We have to realize, now, listen to what the Gemara says. When a Gemara teaches you something, it means that you wouldn't have understood that naturally. Ready? It says the following statement. You need to thank the waiter, but the wine comes from the owner. Okay? You need to thank the waiter, but the wine is from the owner. So we have to realize our friends, our wives, our spouses, everybody is a FedEx delivery man, and you need to thank them and be sincere. And by the way, it's a training ground for appreciation to Hashem. However, who sent it? Who sent it? The preponderance of our gratitude needs to go to the sender, okay? So I practiced this. I did an exercise in connecting back to the sender. I did this because I'm about to teach you. So 2 mornings ago, my son pointed out that my glasses slipped down. He was watching the Yibbonet video. He says, you need to fix your glasses. So here's what happened. It was in the morning, okay? I got onto a bus. Now the bus, I'm very fortunate because there's a bus stop right in front of my apartment, okay? I get on the bus and the bus route takes me a short walk to where I need to go, the eyeglass store, right? So, thank you, Eged, for the bus route being there. And thank you, bus driver, and you should, Toda Rabbah, right? But thank you, Hashem, for making it so easy for me. It's like I had my own car or a taxi. He made it so, thank you, Hashem, right? Hug the sender, right? So then I get there, and I show it to him, and he decides that it's a minor thing, so he says he does it for free. Thank you, eyeglass adjuster. But thank you, Hashem. You adjusted my glasses for free. Then I went and got an iced coffee. I love the iced coffee. Thank you, the ones who hand me the iced coffee. Thank you. But thank you, Hashem. So I realized, if you, instead of thinking, this person did something for me, that one did something for me, that one, so it's diffused. Your recognition of your debt, of all the good Hashem, is diffused by thinking it's the delivery person as opposed to the sender. So what I realized, and this was just like an hour and a half in the morning, I realized, Hashem, gave me a chauffeur drive exactly to my location. He fixed my glasses for free. He got me an iced coffee. He got me back in time. I felt good. You hear? If you do this, if you trace back, thank the delivery person, but you trace back to the sender, the sender of all this, then you say, Ma shiv la Hashem kol taglohi alai. How can I repay Hashem? How can I do it? He gives it for all that he gives me. So you really understand all that he's giving, and then you realize you're thrilled, right? Ivdu es Hashem esim, you're thrilled to be. Do you mind 10 minutes? Would you mind helping me for 10 minutes? That's relatively speaking, it's like my friend constantly helping me. He says, do you mind 10 minutes? That's what Hashem's doing with our avodas Hashem. Do you have a few minutes, to help, as if to help me out here? Okay, what we're going to do right now is review this, because I want you to try to master the going from the chore mindset to the joy mindset. And I have a poster. Email me if you'd like a copy. Let's take a look. And some. Okay, here's a way to, let's say, begin to master this approach. What we want to do is, when serving Hashem, is to move from a chore to joy, right? So what you see on the top row is what I call the chore mindset, and what results as a result, right? From a chore mindset. I said that the interesting that we start with a good understanding. We relate to service of Hashem as an obligation, and it is. So that's a good route, but that goes off because you need to switch gears when you start serving, okay? So we relate to it as obligation. As a result, we feel like we're doing Hashem a favor, okay? And then if I'm doing him a favor and it's an obligation, then it's very vulnerable to becoming a chore, sponja, mopping the house. And that's why we often run through things mindlessly. And we said, connecting to Hashem is why we're here, so we don't want to rush and through that. So that's the chore mindset. Now, let me trace this backwards. This is where we want to end up. We want to serve Hashem with joy, right? Okay, how do we achieve that? It's by feeling thrilled to give back. We have to feel thrilled about the opportunity to give back to Hashem, okay? See, the little kid is giving a gift to her mommy, all right? How do we feel, wow, this is such an opportunity I have? We have to recognize we are showered with Hashem's gifts and goodness. Showered, inundated. So we feel like, wow, I wish I had a way to thank him. But to connect to that, to feelize that, to really, really connect to that, we have to overcome our physical perception, right? Because we often mistake the ones who are delivering Hashem's goodness with the senders, that they provided the goodness. And they're wonderful, and they should be also embraced for it. But really, we have to realize it's Hashem, if you will, sending out delivery trucks full of goodness for us. And if we realize that, that'll get us in this cycle, right? We recognize how much it is. Wow, that's a lot. So wow, I wish I had a chance to give back. And then, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Okay, Hashem should help us integrate this and live this.
It's